What's up, dudes and dudettes? It's your favorite space explorer, the Curiosity Dude. Today, we're blasting off on a mission to explore the ultimate frontier, living in space. We've all seen the epic movies, right? Astronauts floating weightlessly, gazing out at the breathtaking view of Earth. Living on a space station sounds like pure sci-fi adventure, but hold on to your spacesuits, because today, we're diving deep into the unfiltered reality of space life. We'll be talking about the mind-blowing science behind space travel, the nitty-gritty of a typical astronaut's day, and the serious engineering challenges of building a home among the stars. We'll even explore the human cost of venturing out there, the risks, and the sacrifices involved. But fear not, because there's also a ton of awesome stuff to discover, from the future of space habitats to the potential for humanity to become a spacefaring species. So, buckle up, space cadets, because we're about to embark on a journey unlike any other. Get ready for some mind-blowing facts, surprising challenges, and a whole lot of space awesomeness. Part 1. The physics of space living. Living in space might seem like a dream come true, but it turns out defying gravity comes with a price. Here on Earth, gravity keeps our bodies nice and strong. But up in space, things are different. There's this thing called microgravity, which basically means there's super weak gravity. It's like floating in a giant pool forever. Sounds cool, right? Well, not exactly. Microgravity can wreak havoc on the human body. Astronauts can lose muscle mass and bone density at an alarming rate. It's like their bodies are slowly forgetting how to function on Earth. That's why they gotta exercise like crazy in space, using fancy machines and resistance bands to keep their muscles from turning to mush. And that's not all. Space is a harsh environment filled with radiation. It's like invisible rays constantly bombarding you. This radiation can mess with your DNA and lead to serious health problems, like cancer. That's why astronauts have special shielding to protect themselves, but it's a constant battle against the invisible enemy. On top of that, there's the psychological aspect of being cooped up in a tiny metal can for months on end, far away from loved ones. Imagine staring at the same four walls, day in and day out, with no escape. It can take a toll on your mental well-being. So, yeah, space living ain't all sunshine and spacewalks. There are some serious scientific hurdles to overcome. Part 2. A day in the life of a space dweller. Alright, dudes and dudettes, ever wondered what a typical day for an astronaut is like? Buckle up because we're about to take a virtual tour of the International Space Station, otherwise known as the ISS, which is basically a giant science lab orbiting Earth. Imagine waking up not to an alarm clock, but to a gentle nudge from the walls. That's because in space, there's no up or down, so alarm clocks don't really work. The first order of business? Hygiene. But forget about a relaxing shower. Astronauts gotta use special wet wipes and space shampoo to keep themselves clean. It's a bit like camping, but with way less fresh air and a whole lot more science. Now, here's a fun fact. Because of microgravity, water behaves differently in space. It forms little blobs instead of flowing freely. So, astronauts have to use special dispensers that squirt out the water for them, kind of like a high-tech squirt gun for cleaning. After cleaning up, it's breakfast time. Space food might not win any Michelin stars, but it's packed with all the nutrients astronauts need to stay healthy. Think freeze-dried fruits, thermostabilized meals, basically fancy space pouches that heat up, and even space tortillas. These tortillas are specially designed not to crumble in the microgravity environment, so astronauts can enjoy a taste of home, or at least a close approximation. Now, the real work begins. Astronauts spend a good chunk of their day conducting scientific experiments. These experiments can range from studying how microgravity affects plant growth Imagine trying to grow a garden that floats. To analyzing the effects of space radiation on human cells. It's pretty amazing to think that the research done on the ISS could lead to breakthroughs in medicine, agriculture, and even space travel itself. But space life isn't all about groundbreaking science. There's also a lot of maintenance to be done. The ISS is a complex machine, and astronauts have to constantly check for problems, fix any equipment malfunctions, and make sure everything is running smoothly. It's like living in a giant, high-tech house that needs constant upkeep, except with the added challenge of being hundreds of kilometers above Earth. In between science and maintenance, astronauts also need to communicate with mission control back on Earth. They send and receive data, discuss ongoing experiments, and report on any issues they might be facing. It's a vital link that keeps the ISS operational and ensures the safety of the crew. But even astronauts get some downtime. They can relax by reading ebooks on special tablets, because regular paper tends to float around and cause trouble, watching movies on laptops, or even video calling their families. It's a small way to connect with home, millions of miles away. Imagine having a video chat with your loved ones while floating weightlessly. That's definitely a unique experience. Of course, no day aboard the ISS would be complete without admiring the breathtaking view. Astronauts get some dedicated time to relax in the cupola, a special observation dome with panoramic windows. Imagine staring back at Earth, a beautiful blue marble hanging in the blackness of space. It's a humbling experience that reminds astronauts of the incredible world they're orbiting and the vastness of the universe. So, there you have it, dudes and dudettes. A glimpse into a typical day for an astronaut aboard the International Space Station. It's a mix of science, maintenance, communication, and moments of awe-inspiring wonder. It might not be the most luxurious lifestyle, but it's definitely an adventure unlike any other. Part 3. Engineering Challenges of Space Habitats. Living in space isn't just about spacesuits and cool gadgets. It's about engineering a self-sustaining environment for humans to survive. Imagine a giant spaceship, not just for short missions, but for entire communities. That's the dream of building permanent space habitats, and the engineering challenges are mind-blowing. Building a closed loop, water, air, and waste. The first hurdle? Creating a closed-loop life support system. Think of it like a giant recycling plant for everything astronauts need to survive. Here on Earth, we take clean water for granted, but in space, every drop counts. The ISS uses a multi-stage filtration system to recycle wastewater from showers, hand washing, and even urine. It's not exactly glamorous, but it's essential for keeping a limited water supply going. Air is another crucial element. Astronauts breathe recycled air, but it needs constant cleaning. The ISS uses a system with filters and chemicals to remove carbon dioxide, which we exhale, and replenish the oxygen we breathe. It's like a giant air purifier keeping the atmosphere inside the habitat fresh and breathable. But what about waste? Unlike throwing things away on Earth, astronauts can't just chuck their trash out the window. Solid waste has to be carefully stored and eventually brought back to Earth for disposal. It's not the most pleasant topic, but it's a crucial part of maintaining a clean and healthy living environment in space. Food is another major challenge. Astronauts can't exactly rely on grocery deliveries from Earth. That's why scientists are developing techniques for growing food in space. Imagine a miniaturized farm inside a spaceship. Hydroponics, a method of growing plants without soil, is a popular option. Plants get their nutrients from a water-based solution, and special lights mimic sunlight to keep them growing. It's not easy, though. Plants need specific wavelengths of light, precise amounts of nutrients, and the right level of gravity to thrive. Researchers are experimenting with different techniques, and some astronauts have even enjoyed the fruits, or rather, vegetables, of their labor by growing fresh lettuce on the ISS. It might be a small step, but it's a giant leap towards self-sufficiency in space. The ultimate goal? Building self-sustaining space colonies, giant habitats that could house hundreds or even thousands of people. These colonies would need to produce their own food, water, and energy, creating a miniature Earth in space. It sounds like science fiction, but engineers are already working on the concepts. Imagine giant rotating structures that use artificial gravity to simulate Earth-like conditions. These colonies could be built on the Moon, Mars, or even further out in the solar system. It's a long way off, but the challenges we're tackling with the ISS are paving the way for this incredible future. So, dudes and dudettes, the engineering challenges of space habitats are real, but they're also incredibly exciting. Who knows, maybe one day you'll be sipping space coffee grown on a Martian farm, all thanks to the brilliant minds working to make space living a reality. Part 4. The human cost of space exploration. Living in space isn't just about spaceships and fancy technology. It's about the incredible human beings who dare to venture beyond our planet. But space exploration comes at a cost, and it's important to acknowledge the sacrifices and challenges astronauts face. Becoming an astronaut isn't a walk in the park. It requires years of rigorous training and dedication. Imagine the most intense physical fitness program you can think of, then add on advanced scientific knowledge, psychological evaluations, and the ability to work effectively under pressure. Astronauts need to be not only physically fit, but also mentally sharp and incredibly adaptable. We all see the cool images of astronauts floating weightlessly, but the training to prepare for that involves activities that might seem strange. They spend hours in centrifuges that simulate the intense G-forces experienced during launch and re-entry. They practice underwater exercises to mimic the feeling of microgravity. They even train in giant pools to perfect spacewalk techniques. It's a demanding process that pushes them to their physical and mental limits. Space is a harsh environment, and space travel carries inherent risks. Just getting to space is a nerve-wracking experience. Launch vehicles are incredibly powerful machines, and any malfunction during launch can have catastrophic consequences. Even once in space, there are dangers lurking. Equipment can malfunction, putting astronauts at risk. Micrometeoroids, tiny space rocks traveling at incredible speeds, pose a constant threat. And as we discussed earlier, radiation exposure is a serious health concern that can lead to long-term health problems. Astronauts understand these risks, but they choose to push forward because of the potential rewards of space exploration. They're driven by a sense of adventure, a desire to push the boundaries of human knowledge, and a commitment to inspiring future generations to reach for the stars. The high cost of space exploration and the potential for long-term health effects raise some ethical questions. Is it right to spend billions of dollars sending humans into space when we have so many problems here on Earth? Is it ethical to ask astronauts to risk their health for the sake of scientific discovery? These are complex questions with no easy answers. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to continue space exploration is a societal one. But by understanding the human cost involved, we can have a more informed discussion about the future of space travel. Part 5. The future of living in space. Alright, dudes and dudettes, so we've explored the realities of space living, the challenges, the sacrifices, and the awe-inspiring potential. But what does the future hold? Buckle up, because we're about to blast off on a journey of what space habitats might become. The future of space living is all about pushing the boundaries of technology. Imagine spacesuits that are more comfortable and offer better protection from radiation. Scientists are developing new materials and advanced life support systems to make spacewalks safer and more efficient. Artificial gravity is another game changer. The current space stations rely on microgravity, but for long-term habitation, artificial gravity could be crucial. Imagine rotating space habitats that create a centrifugal force, mimicking Earth's gravity and helping to prevent bone and muscle loss in astronauts. And let's not forget about advanced automation and robotics. Robots can take on dangerous tasks like spacewalks and maintenance, freeing up astronauts for more scientific endeavors. Imagine a team of human and robotic explorers working together to build and maintain future space colonies. The future of space living isn't confined to low Earth orbit. The moon is a stepping stone, with plans for lunar bases and outposts on the horizon. Imagine a thriving lunar community, extracting resources and potentially even using the moon as a launch pad for deeper space exploration. But the ultimate goal? Mars, the red planet. With its potential for water ice and a more Earth-like environment, Mars beckons as a future home for humanity. Imagine self-sustaining Martian colonies, domes protecting human life from the harsh Martian environment, and rovers exploring the vast alien landscape. The road to becoming a multi-planetary species is long and challenging, but the potential rewards are incredible. Living in space could not only expand our knowledge of the universe, but also ensure the survival of our species. So, dudes and dudettes, are we ready to become spacefaring citizens? The future is uncertain, but one thing's for sure. The journey towards living in space is an exciting one, filled with innovation, exploration, and the potential to rewrite the story of humanity. All right, space cadets, that's it for our deep dive into the unfiltered reality of living in space. We've explored the mind-blowing science, the nitty-gritty of astronaut life, the engineering challenges that would make your head spin, and the human sacrifices involved in pushing the boundaries of exploration. It's a wild ride, right? Living in space might not be all sunshine and spacewalks, but the potential for scientific discovery, human resilience, and a multi-planetary future is truly awe-inspiring. So, what do you think? Are you ready to pack your space bags and blast off to a future among the stars? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the future of space living. And hey, if you enjoyed this cosmic journey, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the Curiosity Dude channel for more mind-blowing explorations of science, space, and everything in between. We've got tons of awesome content coming your way, so buckle up and get ready for the next adventure. Remember, space exploration is for everyone, and who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one floating weightlessly, gazing back at our beautiful blue planet. Until next time, stay curious, stay awesome, and keep your eyes on the stars. This is the Curiosity Dude, signing off.